This is the Sorinex off-grid rack. Even Bert Sorin, the president of Sorinex, has said this is not the best rack Sorinex has ever produced. However, this is a purpose-built rack. Bert said this is a wartime solution for people that want racks shipped out quickly, that want to get back to getting strength training, and this is designed for that. It doesn't have everything that I like. It has some flaws. It has some things that I want to see changed, but this is our review. Let's do it. Hey guys, this is Coop from GarageGymReviews.com, and today we're reviewing this bad boy. This is the Sorinex off-grid rack. This is, as I said in the intro, not the best rack that Sorinex has ever built, not the most feature-filled rack that Sorinex has ever built, but it is the cheapest, most budget-friendly, and the fastest shipping rack that Sorinex has ever built. Okay, we're in a time right now where pretty much every retailer is out of gym equipment, they're out of racks, that sort of thing. So Sorinex is like, how can we make a rack that we can ship quickly, get people back to strength training, and also support a cause, COVID or coaches versus COVID-19. Okay, so basically the idea behind this is the NSCA decided they want to create a fund shooting for $30,000 to help those who are fighting on the front lines for COVID-19. So help nurses, doctors, that sort of thing. So I absolutely applaud that idea. I think it's awesome. There's a lot of companies in our industry that are doing great things to fight this cause, and Sorinex is one of them. So all the profits, 100% of the profits from this rack go to that cause. So I want to make that first and foremost clear because I think it's awesome. Okay, now to the actual product. So the idea behind this is it's a single piece of steel with laser cut like holes, laser cut bar hooks, and then it's got 4 bends total on the back that's done on a press brake. So it's like extremely simple, extremely, easy to make, extremely, cheap to ship. It's got a $99 flat ship rate. It's just designed to be a quick solution for those that want to strength train. But as you can see, like the thing that sets it apart from pretty much every other rack that's on the market is instead of using like a tube like Sorinex is known for, it uses a bar hook. So honestly, the idea, at least when I see it, what I think of is I think of a bar rack like a gun rack. So actually what used to sit here was a gun rack. So I, basically just took my gun rack down and I put this up. It took me about 30 minutes to do, but it's a rack that's extremely easy to install and then use. And although I didn't install it perfectly, how they say you want to use 3 stringer boards, 2 holes on each one, and then you want to bolt it to the floor. I didn't do any of that. I just used one on each, thing. I used one on each bend and then I put it into the stud. So it holds just fine. It's very stable, much more stable than I thought, but it just, it works as it is. So unlike Sorinex's typical racks, which have 3x3 steel uprights, 1-inch holes all throughout, they came up with a 4-way hole post. This is just a minimal solution. It's 13.5 inches off the wall. It sits here permanently. You don't move it around. It doesn't have accessories. What you see is what you get. It comes in 3 colors, black, khaki, and green, and that's it. Okay, there's a couple options that you have available. One is without bar or without UHMW plastic for your J-cups. The other is with UHMW plastic. The UHMW plastic adds an extra $100, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So the unique features, a couple unique features. One is it's resting on the ground. So as far as stability goes, it's resting, most of the load is going to be vertical, so it's going to go straight through the ground, and then you have your basically anchors that are into the studs. So it's very stable. There's no connectors between them other than a potential barbell up top. So this is another unique feature they have. They call this, I believe the peak is what they call it. So it's basically just a V cut in there that allows you to rest a barbell. Anybody that's got a squat rack is going to have a barbell. So you have no reason to buy an additional pull-up bar, and you can use a barbell for pull-ups. And as you'll see right now, it's very stable. It doesn't spin, it doesn't move around. Obviously you can't kip on this, it's too close to the wall. Also kipping would make it maybe spin or something, but it holds really well. If you're like me and you like knurled barbells, then you're gonna like that the pull-up bar is knurled. I think honestly, out of this whole solution, that's one of my favorite parts, is that barbell peak that holds a barbell. It's just a smart solution. Westside Barbell's been using that on their white R3 type rack at their gym for years. It's a great idea, it holds it well. However, if you do eventually want a permanent pull-up bar, this 1-inch hole here, as long as you make these 41 inches apart, they can accept a Sorinex stall bar. So it's a stall bar that fits in there permanently. There's also a spot for it on the bottom, and you could eventually use that. Now, in addition to that, this hole right here is here so you could add a landmine. So if you wanted a landmine attachment, you can add a landmine. That's about the only attachment other than adding carabiners to these holes, like you see here, that you can really add. So this one's got bands on this one, it's got guns on this one, and then it's got this little upright piece here, and you can store belts on it or chains, things like that. It's a really well thought solution. This came about in like 10 days, and it works really well. So the other question is, one, how much weight can it hold? Well, it can hold as much weight as you want to put on there. I'll basically put a bar on here and load it up so you can see how much it can hold out of the bumpers I have. But you're not going to have any problem with that. The load is vertical, and this is, I want to say like 5/16 inch. It's close to that. 5/16 inch steel is probably what it is. So it's rigid. You know, it's going to hold whatever weight you can load. And then the other question is, can it take a bench? So can you squat on it? Can you bench on it? Actually, to show you first, when you squat, a lot of questions we're getting is, can you like get under the bar fine without any issues with your head hitting the wall? So when I get under here, my head is like pretty close to the wall, but it's just enough that like I'm fine to come out of the rack and then squat and then put it back in. So I'm not claustrophobic, so I'm not feeling any issues like getting under there. However, I could see somebody who maybe doesn't like close quarters. You probably wouldn't love that. And then the other question is, can it take a bench? Can you bench out of it? And the answer is yes, but to show you, I'll just rack this bench in here. I put it all the way up against the wall. And then you can basically get under it just like you normally would, come out and bench just fine. The hooks aren't in the way as long as you're far enough out. My head's fine there. And then I'm able to rack it, pull the bench out, everything like that. So works well for bench, for squat, which is what it's designed for. This isn't like an do everything type of rack. This is purpose built. So now on to, those are some things I like. Let's talk about some things I don't like, because there are definitely some things I don't like. One thing I don't like is, although like this design is very aesthetically pleasing and it's different, it's cool, and it's made to ship quickly, it's not the best design that's out there. In fact, I mean, the reason that Sorinex uses tubes on all of their uprights with the 4-way hole post is because it can take accessories. So in my opinion, this is not the last rack you'll ever buy. Sorinex is known for making racks that it's like, this is the last rack you'll ever buy. For most people, this is a solution for right now, and later on you may end up selling it, or you may end up like using it as a bar rack or something like that, which I'll end up using it for. But for most people, this is not the last rack you want to buy. So if you're looking to buy a rack and this be your one rack for life, I don't think this is it. It doesn't take accessories. And also, the other thing I don't like, and this is a big one for me, is it doesn't take spotter arms. Okay, so because there's no place to take spotter arms, there's no attachments or anything like that, you're basically forced to just bench, you know, by yourself. The other reason you kind of bench by yourself is because you can't fit a spotter behind here while you're benching. So I always suggest not benching. Don't bench alone. I mean, I've known of people that have bars like roll back on their necks. I've had a friend whose cousin died. His mom found him in the basement with a bar across his neck. I've told that multiple times. It's an extremely sad story, but it's because it's dangerous benching alone. In fact, Sorinex has recognized that because they're the ones, Bert Soren's the one who created the strap safeties. And the idea behind the strap safeties was you could make it so that the straps angled down, so when you drop the bar, it saves your face, saves your neck, and rolls down. So although this is a wartime solution, I mean, I don't want to, be, your dad and say don't bench without spotters, but I'll be your dad. Don't bench without spotters, play it safe. I definitely wouldn't max out on this. If you're gonna do a few reps, I think that's okay, but still, I don't want anybody in our community to die because they're benching out of something like this. So just make sure you have people there to help you, or you make like homemade spotters, things like that, if you're gonna bench on it. So that's the other thing, is it doesn't take any accessories. And then the last one is this isn't compatible with any of there's no future upgradability about this. Because of its design, there's nothing to add to it. This is what you get. It's made for this one solution, this one time. And I'm worried that some people are gonna buy this and think like this is the last rack I'll buy, end up getting it in their house, using it, and then later on realize, man, I wish I would have just waited or had patience. So if you understand that this won't be the last rack you'll buy, but you just want it for right now and you want to repurpose it later on, I think it's a good solution. But there are other solutions out there. Some of them are shipping slower than this one, and many of them aren't. So like Rogue has one that they just came out with, the RML 90 Slim, I think it is. Very similar design, definitely made to compete against this one. It uses 3x3 uprights. It's connected to the wall in a very similar way. It comes off 14 inches instead of 13.5 inches, but because it's using tube uprights, it's able to accept all of the accessories that you would in a Monster Light. So, it's and it's less overall. This is $349, not including shipping. It's another $99 for shipping. It's flat rate. If you want to add these, it's another $99 to that. So it ends up adding up quickly. The Rogue one is slightly less expensive, especially when you factor in shipping. But in my opinion, for a lot of people, I think it's a cool solution. I don't want to put down the cause. I think the cause is great. Cause is, I want to support the COVID, or coaches versus COVID-19. I think that's awesome. However, at the same time, I don't think this is the best solution. I think it's a good idea, and a lot of you will want this because it's unique and things like that. Just understand, I don't think it's the last rack you'll ever buy. So be aware of that. But that's my opinion on the rack. I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna keep it as a barbell rack. If you like barbell rack, honestly, this is one of the coolest barbell racks there is, because you can store whatever you want on it on the sides, and then it's got 14 holders for bars. There's enough space there that you're not gonna have a ton of problems like being in between like J-cups. You can use it for a pull-up bar, you can hang stuff, it works. So this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Thank you for watching. What do you think of the rack? Would you pay $349 plus another $99 for shipping? Or if you want the UHMW, would you pay additional for that? Let me know. We'll see you next time. Peace.